No, this is what I think or deem exciting is like talking about, when I worked for some people y'all would know, like some famous people or whatever. But this is exciting to me too because it's some true shit that I know other artists will go through. It's guaranteed. No matter what art you in, if you a professional rapper, professional comedian, professional screenwriter, no matter what profession you are in the entertainment business, if it lends you out to be a independent contractor, this affects you too, or it will affect you. That one time I let insecurity kick in, and at some point, most of us in show business, I would dare to say, are insecure in some way. You might not be that much, but you are in some way. You human. Some of us just hide it better than others. That's all that shit is. But your insecurities, if you don't have a mentor, can be the demise of you. They can be. And I'll tell you why. I remember when my first set of insecurities kicked in when I was becoming a professional comic. I was becoming a professional comic by applying to go on the road. I had everything that I needed to become a professional or get gigs on the road. So I started. So back then when you wanted, so for those of you who don't know, in my other life, I'm a professional comedian. I'm not just a rapper. The next thing that I would talk about is that one time I let insecurity kick in, and it will happen, especially when you first starting off. And I wrote this down because I wanted to tell this story about when I let insecurity kick in and who I called. All right. That one time I let insecurity kick in. I was living in Arizona, wife and kids, starving artist, working at a comedy club, working at Sprint PCS. At the same time, I might have quit my job, and this is why some of the insecurity was kicking in. I got to that point where I thought it was good enough to hit the road. And at my job, when I was working for Sprint PCS, and they hired me knowing that I was a comic, and then it was like, oh yeah, we support you, just let us know, and and then that shit didn't happen one time, and so I had to make a choice, and so I chose my stand-up career and quit my job and opted to go full time. But that's another story. Because that was the first time I featured as a professional comedian for Steve White. So that's another story that I'll tell later on. So in becoming a professional comic to hit the road, there are things that I had to do. So back then you submitted tapes, VHS tapes. There was no emails. It was emails too. It was emails, but emails was like, like what Twitter is to us now, or any social media. That's what, email was like just as important back then. So it was email because it was quicker than the VHS. We still didn't have like the digital, access to like, if you wanted to send an email with a link, we still didn't have that, but you still had the fact that the email could come to a person just like that instead of them waiting for a letter. I ain't that old, we just did a letter. But there was a time. I wrote my first screenplay on the typewriter. No, I actually wrote it by hand and then typed it on the typewriter. But anyway, so you had to send a VHS tape of your performance, and depending on what position you were going for, whether it was MC, feature, or headliner, you had to have adequate video of you performing at a comedy club on this tape, along with a resume and references. So what I did, again, I like to come correct with my presentation because how I looked at it was, how would I want, if I was a booker, and I am a booker, if I was a booker, if I was a consumer, if I was a fan, what I would want to see in the presentation of what I have to offer. So if I'm offering you a resume, you send me a resume, and it looked like everybody else's resume. First of all, let me give you some context. And this is without me even knowing all this, because this is my first time sending this stuff out. This is what the other big comics told me I had to do, and that's what I did. This is without knowing the politics of the shit. This is without understanding and realizing how many comics are sending one particular booker shit, and how frustrated that booker is, and somebody just canceled on him last night. You are trying to get a job with him, and hell, that might benefit you. He mad at this motherfucker didn't show up, and all of a sudden hey, can you make it to this? That type of thing can happen, and it's happened. Or you don't. This is me submitting to them without having those understandings of they got a life too and shit going on besides me. I'm not the only person or only comic in the world submitting to this booker. So be patient, that type of shit, So I started on this journey on submitting to different agencies so that I can get on the road. And in my mind, I'm thinking the shit gonna happen like this, that, and the third. I'm gonna send my shit out, and then 4 days later they gonna call me, and boom, I'm on the road. I'm thinking like a kid. It's the bottom line. I'm young. I'm thinking like a kid, right? Immediate gratification. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that even before social media came along, right? So 3 weeks go by. Remember, I didn't quit my job. I'm working at the comedy club still, but those gigs came. I had to hustle every night in regards to making some money at the comedy club if I wasn't booked, or because after the club I would go sell CDs of my stand-up across the street at the jazz club. But that's another story. Anyway, so 3 weeks done passed, right? Now I'm starting to question, am I funny? Am I funny enough? I know I'm funny. They told me I was. And then these people laughed. All this shit start going through your mind and your head, man. Like, and then imposter syndrome hit you. Imposter syndrome. That's a real thing. It didn't have a name to it back then when I was coming up. Just the name just came about in the last few years. And you start feeling like, damn, maybe I'm not what I thought I was. But deep down, you were. The laughter you've been getting. The work you've been putting in. The comments that were said by particular people that meant something to you because they said it. Damn. And then, but when you don't get that reciprocation, that gratification that you had built up in your mind right away, like even my mentor at the time, who had to talk me down, didn't realize until I called him that he needed to call me to let me know, or let me know when I was sending this stuff out, this is what's going to happen. You gotta wait. You gotta da 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 da. I learned this organically, this lesson. So I'm panicking because no one's calling me. No one's, responding to, all this money I spent on these materials. So when I sent out stuff, I wanted it to stand out and look its best. I remember reading about how, what's that group called? When It's Over. Whoever that group is. They was the shit for a long ass time. Mick G did their first music video. He's from Michigan. When it's gone, I can't remember all that shit. When it's over, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I remember how McG got looked at, or they first whatever. He borrowed some money from his dad or relatives, $3,000, and shot a music video for these guys. But he just didn't send the music video to the labels, just, you know, plain Jane, willy-nilly. I want to say he did something extravagant, like he custom made a pizza box and put the music video in, you know, something unique he did, right, to stand out, and it shit worked, because they became one of the hottest, you know, biggest groups, and McG is producing television shows and movies all the time. But anyway, it stood out. So I put myself in their shoes, you know, what would I like to see? You know, because everybody, what they showed me in regards to materials that they send bookers look the same. So how can I stand out? So what I did with my resume is I put a watermark, my headshot. Although I sent the headshot, I also, on my resume, turned my headshot into a watermark and put it underneath the words on my resume. I had two people call me. One person booked me, the other person didn't. He said, I'm not gonna book you because I don't think you're ready yet, but I did want to call you and let you know that your submission material resume is the best I've ever seen. He said it was the best I've ever seen because it stood out. The care that I took in regards to the meticulousness of the materials that I sent and how it looked. You know, my headshot was different. It was black and white, but the hat that I had on was in color. You know, I used to have an upside down visor I used to wear, and that shit was in color. Shit like that stood out and got me looked at on a couple of occasions. And so I had that going for me. But I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the fact that these people ain't called me yet. It's been 3 weeks. So I panicked. I called my mentor, right? I told him what was happening and what I was going through, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I made the right decision, blah, blah, blah. And he chuckles for a second. I'm like, ain't shit funny. The fuck is funny? I'll tell you, I'm over here, I'm stressing the fuck out here. I got kids. You know, my wife already don't believe in me. You know what I'm saying? I got kids. Nigga, what you laughing at? And so he tell me, Amaru, everybody goes through that. Every performer goes through that. I was like, really? He was like, it's self-doubt. He said, the insecurities start to kick in because, you know, it's just because the fear of the unknown, and you know, and he just broke it down, man, and made me feel better. And I'm telling you, after he said, just be patient. After that conversation, not 2 days later, did one of the people that I sent my tape off to call me. Matter of fact, my first gig, and the gig didn't happen because it got canceled, was in Kylene, Texas. I still remember it. It was supposed to be Kylene, Texas, and it got canceled. And I was so devastated, but I had several dates on the book. So my tour didn't start until a week later, but I was upset that it didn't start on time because I was excited to go on the road. But yeah, not 2 days later, man, 2-3 gigs came in, boom. One of them gave me multiple dates. And so that began my career on the road. And he was absolutely right. You have to have faith in that what you are seeking to do, or insecurity will eat your ass up. It'll eat your ass up in this business. If you know for a fact that people, especially people you don't know, are responding to your output, and you can monetize it, and you are you become useful to other bookers because of the response you get from the public at large, then go for it. Bank on that shit. Do the things, do the research that you need to do to get your foot in that door and have that faith and run with it. Because the bottom line is, if you don't have faith in you, how do you expect somebody else to have faith in you and invest their money and time to build you up and put you out there? You know what I'm saying? If you don't have faith in yourself, why should I take my money and invest and put it in you? Meaning put you on my stage. Why would I put you on my stage if you don't even believe in yourself? And that's how they look at the shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Why would I put you on, give you a shot, and you don't even want to go out here and talk to somebody, try to invite them to a show? They got to be somebody you know. No. Invite people you don't know. Because people you know ain't going to always come to your shit. Invite the people you don't know. Step outside your comfort zone and go, because when you travel and tour, you're going to be performing for motherfuckers you don't know. So get used to it. You know, go to somebody that don't look like you and invite them to the show. If you got that kind of faith in what you do, boom. It's that simple. It's just that, you know, it's just that cut and dry. And so that was my experience of being insecure, and he was right. He was right. You know, I did what I was supposed to do, and he was like, there's 1,000 people sending these bookers stuff, and you just gotta give it time and be patient. You know, they would, and I'm sure in retrospect, now that I've been in the business for a while, he probably, because he liked me and told me that I was gonna make it big in the business based on my skill set. So he might have made a call to somebody, and I don't know it to this day. He might have made a call to a booker, be like, yeah, give him a shot. He's funny and blah 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 blah. For all I know. So, you know. And now, well, let's play another song. What was it gonna be this time? Let's play something new. I got a joint called How I Be Thinking. If you know someone who has Alzheimer's or going through dementia, this song is for them.
All my troubles would fade away if you stay now, if you stay. The way that I've been thinking, you and I should get to making real fast. It's the way that I've been thinking, you and I should get to making. No man is an island, but I'm so lost out at sea. Come save me, I know you're coming back. You wouldn't leave me here. The silence never lasts. I sing it on and on. Was quite a fall from grace. Yeah, I would know. Can't even look at my face in the mirror. I know you're coming back. You wouldn't leave me here. The silence never lasts. I sing it on and on. The way that I've been thinking, you and I should get to making real fast. It's the way that I've been thinking, you and I should get to making.
It's quite the fall from grace. Yeah, I would know. Can't even look at my face. save me.
The way that I've been thinking,
Come save me.
you and I should get to linking real fast. It's the way that I've been thinking,
Come save me.
you and I should get to linking.
Come save me.
The way that I've been thinking,
Come save me.
you and I should get to linking real fast. It's the way that I've been thinking,
Come save me.
you and I should get to linking.
Sing it on and on.
No mind is an island, and our memories drift out to sea. Come save me.
How I be thinking. I like that joint. So,